Songwriter Soup.
I gave myself 10 years after I graduated to be like, I'm going to give this 110% of who I am. And then after that, I think it's time to realize that maybe I'm not good at this.
Healthy recipes for not losing your mind and your money in the songwriter business.
Seth came in like 2 years later and he was like, what the heck? Like, you need to send me more songs. It's like one of those months where I can barely make rent and I send him songs like that night. And then the next morning, he's like, quit your job. Right, big laugh. I remember just like crying, like doing laundry in my kitchen. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna write for a living.
And a one, and a two, and a...
Is that how it starts? Is this the song?
Yep.
Welcome to Songwriter Soup. Woo. Okay.
Wow. Matt, that was our best intro ever. Thank you for your
Wow.
contribution.
All right.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
I will see you guys later.
Yeah, it's been great.
I'm
Is
sorry.
this it?
No.
Yeah,
Hey,
Hey,
I'm
can I
happy.
say-
Wait,
Kevin?
do you create the intro?
I would have.
Okay. He just
Here's
talks.
the deal. Listen, the song, it felt like a theme. I don't know. It was giving like back in the 90s. I was feeling nostalgic. Kevin, you're fantastic.
I would.
Yeah.
I'll lift you back up
I
on your-
feel great. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be replaced by a human and not AI.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
great point.
So-
And I'm a
good.
songwriter, so sometimes things just kind of
I know, it
fall
just
out.
kind of fell.
It's just natural for me.
I just can't help
Didn't
it.
mean to do it. It just happened anyway.
Yes.
Dear God. Hi, guys.
We're rolling, baby.
We're rolling.
Let's do it.
And it's good to see all of you. Happy to
Yes.
be here. We have Matt Dragstrem on the podcast today. I'm so excited mainly because every time we chat, there are just so many laughs. Let's build it up so that, and then there's no
Yeah,
laughs.
slow build.
Let's oversell it.
There's gonna
I'm
be
just
laughs,
laughing
I can
all the
already-
time
Yeah,
with
yeah.
you, and you're so silly and so fun.
That's the goal.
And you're the best energy for a little soupy moment
Oh,
today.
thank you so much.
I'm really happy that you're here.
I'm happy to be here. This is my first ever podcast.
So,
Wow.
Do you know that you're on this season?
A
I
lot
think
of
you're like the
firsts.
third. Carrie K, first time, and
Cool.
Jordan Reynolds has never done a
well,
podcast.
don't take away
either.
his first energy. right
Yeah,
now, you know?
yeah.
You're the
I
third
He's like,
first.
You're
We
the
got-
third first. You're not as cool as the first.
I feel like I'm really insulting people today.
You're on first?
Bad.
No, we're just
Oh,
teaming up
no.
on you. It just feels good
It's on
to be
here.
a bully.
But I've heard a lot. So first time
quail.
caller, first
First-time
time listener,
caller.
long time fan. Yes.
Ooh, and thank you.
No one knows how that goes.
What episode have you listened to that you liked? And I hate to put you on the
Tell us
spot.
your
Ooh,
favorite
no,
part.
I love Osborne. I
Yeah.
love Josh.
Yeah, me
he's like
too.
my buddy, and I listened to him. I've listened to a whole bunch. Ashley's was really, really good. Because you know these people, you write with them, and thankfully they're my buddies. But sometimes it's nice to hear their perspective, just like when it's just about them.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's only them.
hmm
So
I imagine it's a lot like what publishers imagine when they're putting writers together. They're going like,
yeah.
I feel like he has a flavor of this and it'll go with that. Like I imagine them putting us together, and this podcast probably helps fill in some blanks as our
Yeah.
individuality comes out.
And they get into a songwriter room. They're like, "Who are you? We pay you to write songs."
Literally. I kind of wonder, we share a publisher, and sometimes I imagine what they would think about just being a fly on the wall in our rooms, because I bet they would go, wow, they waste a lot of time. And then, wow, that was magic. But like, I bet they think we work harder than we probably do because it's so goofy most
And
of
it's
the time.
funny that magic's very short-lived. Not short-lived, but I feel like there are
It's captured.
spurts,
Yeah.
you know, when you believe in the writer you're with, or obviously everyone you work with at this point in our careers, we love and we hang out with. But that magic's like really short.
Yes.
And I'm sure if a publisher watched us sitting in the room like, you guys just talked about, I don't know, geography or like the Roman Empire.
Of course.
That's all we talk
It's a
about.
great
place to
That
start.
is it.
There's a lot of boys,
An hour
and
of
we
this,
love a Roman.
and then maybe some rhymes, and then back to this.
Exactly.
But,
Return to the Roman.
Yes, but it's very simple and very conversational.
Yeah.
And then it's just, as you know, a great song is just a few really easygoing like sentences or like conversational words. It's not a huge arc of an idea.
And you're a master of that.
Oh wow!
And I mean that you like in terms of like waiting for the fun, not scaring it away,
Being
being
patient.
and
Uh-huh.
also just not serious, unserious. You're the most unserious songwriter probably that I know.
Yeah, it's a high compliment.
It is actually, especially for what you do. And if you look at your work and your hits, you
Very
can
different.
see it's definitely a through line.
Is there somebody in the room when you're talking about the Roman Empire? Is there somebody in the room just kind of noodling, or is that your gig?
I just
noodler?
love noodling. I like
on a guitar.
You
You're
know
just
what?
sitting there like,
I don't have a guitar at my house, so
Good for you. Buddy.
and I play
Hold the
guitar my
phone.
whole life.
That's just smart.
So I'll just hold a guitar
That's-
and start playing, and I'm sure people are being really annoyed by me. Just like, what's that about your life's tough right now? You know what I mean? I just after a while,
working on my
I
Eddie
realize
Van
I'll
Halen.
be playing Jimi Hendrix. I'm like, you probably hate me right now. That's why I slowly put the guitar down. No, but I love it. Noodling is like that's probably my specialty in all areas of songwriting.
Noodling.
Yeah,
actually
even with
agree.
words or melody,
Just
it's noodling.
yeah.
kind of being, again, it's just a silliness. It's always stumbling into it. And my thing with writing with him is noticing it and earmarking it. I'm a big,
Like you'll
don't
notice
forget
the
that.
noodle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm a big whatever you're playing, don't forget what you're playing. Because if they
Oh,
move on to
you're really good at that.
I'm like a catcher.
Yeah,
My ears
yeah.
I
go,
need someone like that because I will forever noodle
And not play the same thing
and
twice.
it'll
probably.
be just
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
just kind of
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a really funny thing because you're, like almost like just relentless. Your creativity will keep going, but it's going to require someone
Like
to say,
somebody.
hey, that felt good. That
Yeah.
felt like something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need that in my songwriters I work with the well with are the ones that just say, "Can you stop and play that again?"
yeah. Play,
Or they record it, or
Yeah,
they're real good at
record it.
recording.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really bad.
I'm
I've
always
never.
curious how it happens in the room. I think
Yeah.
that's what I've never been in a songwriter room.
Mhm.
Tracy?
I know. Would you invite me? Can
Yes.
I come into
Let's do
the
it.
Actually, how fun would that be?
Let's do it.
Just, wouldn't that be fun?
the day? Name the day.
Okay.
Will,
wouldn't that be?
We'll do a
Tracy
live
be
podcast.
underwhelmed or overwhelmed?
I think
I will
have
enjoy it
no
so
idea.
much.
Okay.
You
I
can't
feel
even
like he'd
imagine.
really enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be
Don't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
Sit-
because all of his clients are songwriters. I
Oh,
bet it would
you're
just
right.
be so, or songwriters and artists. So I imagine it'd just be so fascinating.
And for being a older musician, I love the music side of it. I don't understand what y'all like that ether that y'all live in, where you pull down these ideas. I don't really understand that very well, but I love the idea of like I would be listening to your noodles.
Mm.
If I was in the room, I would be going, "Ooh, that's
Just a lot of noodle talk.
a lot of listening
That is
to
great.
noodles. That's amazing.
Those
I
are
love
good.
the mixture of
soup and
the
noodles."
senses.
What?
The senses of
Are you
listening
guys
to a
ramen
noodle.
guys? Or are you guys more? Yeah.
It's got a little Cardi B.
Nicolettos. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Sorry. It's terrible.
No, I feel like that'd be really
But I'd
fun.
be listening to them, and I'd be the catcher. I'd be the one.
I think you would be a
There's
good catcher.
one.
Yeah.
He was in a band called Bear Jr. before he became a
Bear Senior.
financial
Okay.
advisor.
Sorry.
Solid.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was solid.
Bingo.
Bear Senior came before.
Yeah, Bear Senior was taken.
They were a little
See,
better,
you're
a
bad.
little more. Anyway.
Before you came Bear Senior,
Sorry,
you're
that's
a
terrible.
genius. No, I just he has an understanding of
The life.
the life and the plight.
More the touring life, I'd say, than the songwriter
In
life.
Nashville?
Yeah.
Cool.
We were in the late
Basically.
90s.
Nice.
Yeah. Bobby Bear Jr. Still playing.
Oh,
Still
awesome.
Great. Yeah. He's playing guitar for Guided by Voices,
Oh wow.
which is insane.
Whoa.
Hmm.
Super cool.
Very
So,
fun.
but yeah, spent a lot of time on the road, but not in writer rooms.
Yeah. What was
Which
your
is-
instrument of choice?
Well, in that band, it was the mountain dulcimer.
Isn't that
Dulcimer.
Isn't that crazy
Yeah,
and
like-
cute?
Plugged
That's
into
awesome.
two Fender Bassmans through distortion pedals.
Oh,
Play-
I thought it was like Joni Mitchell style. Like,
No.
no. Okay, sorry. Sorry, listener. Turn your
I
volume down.
actually cannot play a single Joni Mitchell song,
Oh
Oh,
my god!
but
and
I
she's
can
like
play
the
some fiddle
dulcimer.
tunes. That's what I know.
I love that.
Yeah.
Dude, dulcimer's great. I got a guitar dulcimer.
Yes.
Being like a track guy, I feel like I'm always like looking for new little
Sound.
weird instruments. I went to Wisconsin with some high school buddies, and we passed by a little like thrift shop, like kind of pawn thrift shop
Mhm.
thing. I'm like, we gotta stop in there. So I found a dulcimer that was like a guitar version. It was not like the lap steel one.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was fun because I have guitar versions of everything: banjo guitar,
Yes.
mandolin guitar.
Mhm.
They're like, can you play mandolin? I'm like, yeah.
Ish.
String
So-
it backwards and make it really big, and yeah, no
Exactly.
problem.
Yes.
I
Yes.
get around
Whole
on
thing.
it, but I was like,
That's the best thing about the studio. It's like you can kind of
Yeah.
mess around.
And I'm not really good at anything, but I can play,
Make sounds.
Yeah, I can make sounds.
Yes.
I would hope.
I think you're great at a lot of things, and it is really fun.
Sweet.
Getting a demo back from Drag is real fun.
Yeah.
It's always,
You don't know what you're going to get.
you don't know what you're going to get.
Oh,
It's exciting.
okay.
Yeah.
Why is that? What's the uniqueness there?
I think you take time with it. I feel like there's certain, and I love them all, baby. I love them all. And I'm so grateful when I leave the room. I try to thank everyone as I'm leaving the room. Thank you for the work you're going to do after I leave.
And we appreciate it.
I because it's work,
A ton of work. Yeah.
But I feel like some they have a standard sort of plug in vibe of like, just get it out. There's people who take 2 months to get you something that is great, but the momentum is gone. So, and you have a nice thing where it's like you take just enough time to make it cool without killing the momentum of the time we've waited before we get it back. Do you know what I mean?
100%. For tracks, I love just like sitting with it and kind of, the older I get and the more songs I've done, the more I kind of step out of the way and let the song kind of be the star. And I grew up playing guitar my whole life, so I can play a lot of cool stuff.
Yes.
But it's the art of undoing all that and being like, what does it actually need? Is this really important? And then sometimes it wants to be rocked out and sound amazing, but then sometimes the vocal and the lyrics, the melody are so good. You're like, why am I putting banjo and guitar and mandolin and piano and pedal steel? There's no reason. So I do kind of sit with it and let it kind of be its thing for a day. That's why I don't do it like the next day. I kind of wait like a couple days and I kind of listen to it and be like, oh yeah, interesting to do that here and pull the music out here and maybe add harmony later in the song. Maybe not the first chorus.
Just textures.
It's fun.
Just to not,
but that's fun for me. Like I like sitting in my room and finding new tools, new keyboards, just to mess around with. That's like, being an introvert, extrovert. I love hanging out with people and creating music, and then I love sitting by myself.
Yeah.
And being like, ooh, this is me as a kid in the basement playing guitar. Yeah. No one bothering me, just playing along with the radio.
I love that.
So
do you take the demo, like if you guys are writing together, and let's say you put it on a voice memo. I don't know how you do it, but however you do it, put it on a voice memo. So you just ride around in your car, kind of listening to it, thinking of like, I could take it this direction or that direction, or is that how
I can? I'll do that. I'll do it in the morning. Typically, I'm so fresh in the morning. If I get there at 9, I'll run through a couple of the songs I need to work on that week, because I'll work before the write and after the write on different songs.
Oh,
but I'll listen to it like the next day and be like, oh, that's cool. And I get the freshest ideas in the morning. It could be super simple.
Right.
It could be as simple as this verse just needs to be piano. Or, or that chorus really needs to lift way more. I feel like we're not giving it the energy it deserves, because it's a 4-line chorus and it just wants to hit, So unless it's a song I know it's really delicate, typically more ballads. Or which I don't write a lot, but when I do, and I really believe in the idea and I believe in what it is, I will listen to it in my car, because they need to be very handled with care and it's very, very gentle, because you can screw it up big time. It's like Adele songs. You're like, okay, hello. It's like a piano. And you're like, okay, how do I let everything shine besides me noodling around? So,
which I'm sure is
noodles.
Very tempting.
Back to noodles.
But we love a noodles. To circle back, I've said this to a few people, Liz Rose being one. I don't recall a time where you weren't here. Like, you're so ubiquitous with Music Row for me that I don't remember when you entered the picture. When did you move here? When did that happen?
20 years ago.
Wow.
So 2005,
Wow.
Belmont. Transferred from Greenville College. I was there for a semester. Transferred to Belmont 2005 spring. So been here about over a little over 20 years, which is crazy. And
with a vision to focus on
anything
songwriting?
music business.
Okay,
it could have been
more music business.
It could have been in the studio. Could have been a publisher, but I always played guitar, and I always was in band in bands in high school, and people wanted to write with me in college. I'm like, okay, I'll write a song with you, cool, because I can play guitar, and figured out how to use Cakewalk, which was like the Logic Pro X before
I remember
Logic
that.
Pro.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, you can record like 4 tracks. And, but yeah, I kind of just got in there, like 2005, just writing with everybody. We had a bunch of great songwriters like Parker Welling, who's insanely talented, Steve Mokler, who's insanely talented.
Amazing.
We just had a lot of really fun, just great talent. So it was one of those natural progressions, like, okay, maybe the songwriter thing is for me. And then after college, my parents were totally for it, but they said, you need health insurance, which brings in Starbucks.
Yeah, thank you,
They're like,
Starbucks,
you
for that
need
one.
health insurance. You can do it, but you got to, support yourself. So I just had a good attitude. I was like, I'm going to work at Starbucks and I'm going to write, and just know that this is a crazy, silly idea to try to not be an artist, just to write songs. It's like making the NBA. Sometimes it feels like in its own way. But thankfully it all worked out. I mean, 2000, when I get signed, 26 years old.
Was it Big Loud?
Big Loud.
Right out, like, shoot. Wow. Yeah.
So Seth England was my hallmate in Greenville.
No, in Greenville, not
Greenville
Belmont.
College, not Belmont.
Weird.
And I was like, hey, this school is great. I think I want to do more audio engineering, more production. And this Belmont's school had,
Yeah.
at that time, this was
Yeah.
2005. So it's very different now. I'm sure has 10 times more. But they had Ocean Way. I mean, they had a bunch of great
Yeah.
studios. So Seth was always very like, just keep sending me songs. Just send me songs when you get them. And I was doing a lot of sync and a lot of, which for those who don't know, it's sync just for movies, writing songs specifically for movies. People will give you a prompt for a love scene or driving in the rain, what song.
Did you do that just for practice, or did you
No,
have
to pay bills.
Did you actually get activity there?
Oh, yeah.
Sick.
I had
So-
like One Tree Hill. And
So before you got a deal, you were able to get, you were
sync.
making money.
Yes.
On is it?
That's
So
a
I did
different-
Starbucks. I did Starbucks and that because
Yeah.
I was like, Starbucks is not going to completely pay for rent.
Where
and
did you get
everything.
the sync prompts?
I
I know
was
times
friends-
are different, but I'm really thinking about
Yeah.
the new person who's wants to get in but doesn't have a publisher and wants to figure out how to get the ball rolling. Like that's especially if you have a studio and if you're able to like make music on your own. Like I'm sure everything's different 20 years later, but I am curious. Where did you get the prompts? Like how did you find them?
You know, a big thank you goes to Beth Laird over at BMI when she was at BMI,
Yeah.
and I had nothing going on. I would show up and she would just give me 10 names to
Shut
work with.
up. I love that.
And I had nothing going on.
But for nothing in return is the thing that
so
I
really,
Beth
really
is a
appreciated
hero.
her doing that
Love her.
because she was like, this new guy, Ben Rector, I'm not sure if you know who he is. This is like 2009 or 10.
I
So
love
like,
it.
truly, we both were nothing. And,
Right.
and you
This
probably
new
shouldn't
guy.
have written with me either because, but then we got a song on his album that came out in 2010. And that got synced a couple times in some small indie films.
This was all
and this
before
could be
you-
Isn't that cool that neither one of y'all had anything going on?
he did have
He
things
had
going
something-
on.
oh,
Let's
he did?
put
He
him.
was
okay,
touring
let's
at
elevate
this
him.
point.
Yeah.
His
I
artistry
was-
was rolling.
Yeah,
But
okay.
not in the way of where songs were on the radio yet. But he had a following.
He
I
did
wanna
have a
say.
following.
He-
Maybe
okay,
not.
he was playing.
Yeah, but it was very.
This was before
sweet of
Brand
him and
New,
nice. Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
before his like big hit that you hear in a
for sure.
Walgreens
Got
now,
it.
but
Yeah.
still had a touring life,
Yeah.
you know?
And there was
Okay.
like Trent Dabbs
Mhm.
was on that list that Beth Laird gave me. So it was more like connecting with my PRO and just if the PRO can see that you're really passionate and like, I bet they get a lot of people in there and I don't know that for a fact. They're just kind of like, this sounds like fun. It sounds like a
So
flashy
for clarity,
thing.
What did you
PRO though, let's
Oh.
define
yes,
it real
I'm
quick.
sorry.
Your BMI rep, your ASCAP rep, your CSAC
CSAC.
rep. Some of them are just banks. That is a real thing. A lot of those people just keep track of the money you're making or not making.
Mhm.
But-
Yeah. At that
But
time, yeah.
Some of them are actually there because they love music and they love
Mm.
people who make music. And Beth Laird was one of those people. Leslie Roberts was that for me.
Yep.
People who were like, I think you should know this person. Like that
The
is
connection.
Even a small connection
Yes,
makes
a
a big
small one.
difference.
Yeah.
So it is, and I was bringing them new songs like
Mhm.
every couple months. I was like letting them know I'm working on it.
yes.
I'm not like, what do you have for me? I was like really caring about like making the craft better and
Yeah.
And
being
were you
better at
bringing
it.
solo songs at that point? In the early days?
Yeah, sometimes I
Yeah.
would do
Or do
100%ers. Wow, they were terrible. And that's why I like give a lot of credit to Beth and to the Leslies. Like they really hear through like, okay, this is not very good right now, but it will get better
Yes.
because you have
Yep.
that desire.
I want to just point out for our audience, for people who are like hearing this, like use your PRO as a resource type thing for the first time and not
Mhm.
considering like what you were saying earlier about like, I just want to do something in the music business. I don't know what you were destined to become a songwriter. So that's what you became. But there are people who had the same passion as you to be in the music business,
Mhm.
who are not dummies, who are not assholes, who are going to end up at these places.
Yes.
And regardless of whatever their like role is, will be that like connection maker and guiding light and like a force for good within those places for the newbies, for the people who are, they want to make those connections too. So like, I don't know, this is an encouraging story
Yeah.
for
Make friends.
make
Make
friends,
friends.
Yeah.
make friends, and also trust that
Mm.
there are people out there who want to see you succeed. It's not always having to roll up to the
Mhm.
scene
Full
with
knowledge of who you are
Yeah.
already. Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't know. Meeting like Beth Laird, let's just say you were destined to do something else. Beth
Mhm.
Laird would have been a great asset if you ended up
Regardless,
being a
yeah.
publisher. If you ended up working
100%.
at a record label, she just liked you, which is really easy to do.
Mhm.
You're an extremely likable person. Hello.
Hello, me.
But but the truth is that is it. Don't be an asshole. Be
Mhm.
friendly. Make friends. It seems like stupid advice,
Mhm.
but it's brilliant advice.
and also don't think that there's only one
One
way
way.
to
Exactly.
make it for your, to make connections. It's like you don't just have to only get a publishing deal before you start your career.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
you
yeah.
you need to be searching down every avenue possible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
I just
Totally.
said yes. I just say yes, and I know it's news everyone's heard before, but I just would create and say yes to everything, and when I worked at Starbucks, I made it like a mission to myself to just be happy that I get to create songs.
Matt.
Mm.
But even when you're living at poverty level, and truly, like $12,000 a year, like making it,
Mhm.
but just knowing that I'm not letting that, not make me happy that I get to create
Mhm.
music.
Well, this circles back to kind of why it feels like you've always been here.
Yeah.
I think you'd be surprised how many hits this man has. Like, and I say this because some people with lots of hits, their knowability goes up with their hits. Like their face is synonymous with their hits, and they're songwriters. Like some of
Yeah.
us are just like, oh, and
Who, me?
I know this is a sneaky one.
Mm.
Like he has more hits than a lot of people that have been on this podcast, but you're just so low key about it. And I think that
No,
that's
Instagram helps a lot. Yeah.
Truly,
Not
we
on
won't-
social media.
We
people
have
are like,
no one to
"Who
tag
is
when,
this
there will be
person?"
no tagging this man. But
Yeah.
my point is you can be a success in this business with, like, there are people will tell you, and I'm one of these people who actually I'm leaning into this whole thing where it's like, make sure you're known and you have a choice. You know what I mean?
And then me just like, whatever.
Well, it's not stopping you. So
Yeah,
if you're
yeah,
out,
yeah,
do you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like if you're
There's
out there and
ways
you're
to
like,
do it.
I'm shy, I can on one hand, just right off the bat, I could name 5
Mm,
writers in town who are highly successful, who are just low key about it,
mm.
and they're getting shit done because they're
Yeah.
good and they're yes people and they're grateful to be in the room and they're joy
Mm.
boys. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And girls.
I've always wanted the music to shine, like, I mean, obviously being a good vibe is very, very important. Like if you're a bad vibe and a great writer, I'd rather have
Me too.
a good vibe and a bad writer.
Yeah.
But truly.
All day.
But I was like, I want people just to hear even when I first got signed 2012, 13, I was like, I just want people to hear my music and be like, this is cool. I want to be a part of it. And I'd be like, please write with me. I can rhyme, baby and crazy, you know? So I really tried to let the music shine. And I love the word of mouth thing. I love the natural thing. It might be a slower build, but it's like more rewarding for me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like you know, there is a point to like reach out, and if you feel inspired to call someone or email someone or pitch a song, that's totally valid. I'm not saying don't do anything, but it was like, I want to make sure the music is first and then everything else is second.
Yeah.
So
can we dig back into, I want to go back to the Seth.
Oh yeah.
Big Loud, like how you got your first deal.
Yeah.
And that he was it strikes me that he was.
You come into Starbucks, my Starbucks. I think you knew I worked there.
My Starbucks.
Yeah, I owned it. Vice president.
Franchisee.
Yeah.
Dragstrem.
No, you'd come in, and I think it's funny enough. Yeah, I knew Seth England, and we always connected.
Did he stay at Greenville?
He stayed at Greenville.
Okay, so
and then
he
moved straight and worked at publishing at Big Loud before they had a label, before they had management. Maybe they had management when he came there with Florida Georgia Line, but he would just say, "Please send me songs," and
he would come to Starbucks.
And just be like, "Please, like, what do you got going on?" And I would send him songs, and then I wouldn't hear back, so I would kind of not send him songs anymore because I'm like, I don't want to bother him.
Yes.
And then it was like a couple, 2 or 3 years later, which is like, I don't know why. I'd just be like, I don't want to be in their way. I'm such I know. I'm like, why? Well, like, just keep sending them stuff. Yeah. And now, like, for artists, I'll send them a million songs. You cut this song. No, but, and then it was kind of, I gave myself, I know I'm kind of talking in circles.
Please.
I gave myself 10 years after I graduated to be like, I'm going to give this songwriting 110% of who I am. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to connect. And then after that, I think it's time to realize that maybe I'm not good at this and people aren't telling me, or like just because your parents think you're really good at it doesn't mean you're really good at it. So, but I have wonderful parents. But back to Seth England. Seth came in like 2 years later after I was like, I'm not going to send him any more songs.
You're still at Starbucks.
Still at Starbucks. And it was like 9 or 10 years into like, I was like, okay, really did give it my all. I made money. I got some songs on some shows and it was kind of like winding down, I feel like. Not giving up. I was just like being very realistic about
like
who I am. Yeah. And he came in and he was like, can you just, what the heck? Like you need to send me more songs. Like Seth came in a couple years later, like, really? I haven't heard any of your songs.
Your shyness was.
I was like, sorry, man. I thought like maybe like, you got Florida Georgia Line, like Cruise was starting and like so busy.
Yeah.
I don't like getting in the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm very like, if I'm inspired, and it's like one of those months where I can barely make rent, and I send him songs like that night because I closed, and he came in during closing, and then the next morning he's like, quit your job. Right,
no way.
I remember just like crying, like doing laundry in my kitchen. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna write for a living.
Doing laundry in your kitchen.
Yeah, so it was really sweet.
Do you remember the deal points of that first deal?
Very low draw. And I said, well, I have to keep working at Starbucks if I make this much. And he said, how much do you need to make? And so I got bumped up enough to make it.
A draw for clarity.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No, sorry. I just always want to educate the next generation. A draw is basically like a yearly commitment of money.
Yeah.
You get a commitment of money. They give it to you like a salary, which immediately makes you think they're the boss. Mm-hmm. They're not, because it's your money. We'll talk about that later. But the point is that amount of money is what you live on. And this is the Nashville style deal. The LA deals are entirely different, but your draw was low, but you could live on it.
Oh, especially in Nashville in that time.
Yeah.
2012, I can, $400 rent, was
sick.
And I was living with 5 people in a house. So it wasn't like, it wasn't like in a studio, like, somewhere it's like nice. But, as you know, I just was living at my studio up in Big Loud at the 3rd floor.
Yep.
So I didn't really care about where I lived.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
what a dream to have a space.
Oh yeah, they're like, here's a free studio space, or like
Mhm.
and it was my home. It was my everything. I felt very, a lot of hits were written in that room before, and I was like, I felt the energy of that room.
Had
So it was
good
really
chi.
cool.
Yeah.
Very good chi.
Amazing.
So
The other thing about that big loud building is that it's like the room where it happens. Like there's so much going on in that building all the time, whether it be parties where you just meet people or whatever. And I know neither of us are real big, like Dave's the party guy. We're not real big. Sorry, that's a hot rod reference. We're not real big.
It's great.
I wouldn't say we're
that.
both like crazy party people, but in the beginning of your career, it's so good to be like, that's so and so. And he now knows my name because I'm in the room upstairs. Like there's a lot of connectivity about working at a building, just in general, where
100%.
shit's going on.
Especially when you're starting out. I think
Yes.
it's very important.
But I have a question for you because there's a few people in town who told me a little bit about how if their studio is at the publishing house, if any of your tracks end up on the master, you have to share the master with the publishing company. Did they do that to you?
No.
Sick.
And
Because-
I've heard about that.
Okay.
And I've been warned about that. But I feel like I just belong to companies that are like,
Good.
no. That
Good.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Let me
And that is a thing.
Yeah, let's
let me
talk
get this
about
clear.
it. I know
This is
it's fucked up.
This is a news flash for
It's
me.
a little bit of a
Yeah.
fuck up.
So if I'm producing the track in the building,
Mhm.
then the company thinks they have
Because
So
you don't pay
typically-
rent.
because you don't pay rent,
because you don't pay
and
rent.
because typically, let's say,
But they said
writing-
right here.
huh?
But they said right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Funny.
kind of bizarre. So
And you're
typically,
getting
match,
a draw,
yeah.
and you're
Mhm.
quote in partnership. You are in partnership with the
Mhm.
publishing company.
I think the thing that makes it
Maybe that's-
complicated is that when you're a track guy, which that's a condescending term, but I'm
No,
putting it in
fine.
quotes because I don't like it. But
Yeah.
at that
I forgot
time,
my
that's
track
what
sheet.
they were referred to. You have here's a
Yes.
room, here's a studio.
Yeah.
You're a track guy. Those track guys typically produce demos. Demos don't end up on masters.
Right.
But because you're good, and this is what I'm hearing from my friends that I think is just really terrible business practices
Yeah.
on the side of a publisher. If you have a budding producer that you signed, how dare you?
Oh gosh.
Do you know
I've
what
never
I
run
mean?
into it at all.
It's
Good.
really upsetting. I'm
That's
like, how
good to
dare
hear.
you? Like this person has something good enough that could end up on a master, and you know that they're getting fucked anyway.
Oh, 100%.
And then they're getting, double because their publisher is getting off, hey, that's my building.
Yeah.
That's my room.
That's
you know?
mine.
Interestingly, I mean,
Huh.
the difference maker in terms of like money for the person, the track guy or whatever who's like making the tracks is way bigger than it would be for the publisher in terms of like hitting the
Pay
bottom
rent.
line.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
what is the point other than to just say I own you? You
It's
know?
probably one attorney.
Yeah.
10 years ago in LA, like was like trying to make the publisher money. Is probably independent and just not that all independents are bad. Because
They're not.
Big Loud was
Mhm.
great and Big Machine
Right.
are
Yeah.
fantastic.
Unbelievable.
companies.
And honestly, the company that I'm thinking of is not an indie. So
Ooh,
you're right. It
interesting.
got in the
Okay.
sauce. Somebody said something to somebody.
Someone found a loophole. I'm like,
yeah.
what if we did this?
Ooh, maybe
Like,
we will.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm just saying it because I feel
Yeah,
like it's
no, that's
something
something-
worth talking about.
100%.
If you're a track guy and
Mhm.
you're signing to a
Or girl.
publishing deal or girl, just find out what the terms are. If your tracks
Yes.
end up on masters, make sure it's in your contract
Mhm.
that those belong to you. And if they don't, at
Great
least
point.
understand what you're signing.
Mhm.
Understand that by taking that space, by taking the building and the room and maybe the gear in
Mm.
exchange, it just needs to be clear. I feel like those are the
100%.
little loopholes that no one thinks of until after they're already, hosed about it.
Because
Do you
if
know
you
what I mean?
know that, it might change the way you do your business.
Correct.
You might
You might
produce
choose
at
to,
home. You
yes.
might, simple solution.
Well, at least give you an
Okay.
option for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And-
Just
and-
know what you're signing.
I would
Mhm.
also think it discourages you from doing your best work in the building.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Which
a
is,
great
real.
point.
which is a downside because, like we said, it was probably really cool. I remember that building in the early days.
Mhm.
They-
There was a lot going
yeah.
on.
Big
Always.
Loud
It
building.
was humming.
Oh,
Yeah.
all
Oh,
the
yeah.
time.
That building was humming, and there
Fun.
was just a lot of cool stuff going on. And I imagine just being in that flow would be effective.
It's the surprises for me about what you sign. Like, I feel like part of the sort of mission of this podcast is to just no surprises. Like, you know, understanding that your deal is recoupable, understanding that your draw is your money. Like, that's 100%. The mission. These are all things we figure out like years later for some reason. And I'm like, maybe we tell the kids what's coming. You know what I mean?
And I think it's part of the reason why I was always terrified to do a demo session. Like, I don't want to pay that money back. So I've never done a demo session, which probably should on some songs. But, and as soon as I didn't have to take a draw, I don't. So, and that takes a while and takes a lot of years of work. And
you're also very lucky. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, from your perspective, why not? Because I agree. I think I love that.
I just don't need to do it. I don't want to think about.
Yeah.
It's also, you pay taxes twice on it. It's like, why take it? I guess if you just really needed it, I understand. But I'm not a big spender. I don't know, I'm very, like, I don't need.
You talking about a draw?
Yeah.
Are you like, I don't take a draw? It's been years.
Yeah, but it's a very privileged place to be.
Of course.
And it's something that when you get to that place, you're like, okay, it'd be nice not to worry about that. So the deal, when a catalog sale happens, you can do it right away.
Yes.
There's not that, you know.
It's privileged because I don't know your world well. I know Laura's world really well. You don't spend a whole lot of money. And
we are very
you just shared that. Like, you managed. Well, I think one thing to think about is as you're progressing through the career, think about how you're managing yourself to set yourself up for that position. I think that's something that gets passed over a little bit. Like, woohoo, I'm winning, you know, let's go gangbusters.
Yeah.
Whereas in my experience with you, it's been very measured and thought through and with the plan to not take a draw. You know,
it's funny because
target.
When you're getting a draw, you're like, my income is X. When you have a hit, you're like, I just got a raise in your head.
Yeah.
But if you're like, ooh, that's my income instead. Like, that's what I did. So as soon as I started having hits, I was like, okay, that replaces the measly amount of money that I was being given. I no longer need that. So I always sectioned that off, not immediately, but after hit 2, 3, we started going, we don't take a draw no more. Like, we just started
100%.
Deciding that together, you know, and I haven't taken a draw in forever.
Yeah,
I know hit songwriters who still do, and they might have their reasons. They have their reasons, like
totally fine.
People that, you know,
it's a different way,
right or wrong. It's just
definitely.
Some people just like a draw, and you know, makes them feel like just like that first time songwriter.
Well, here's the
like,
thing:
that's over. I have what I need, and this is extra.
Yeah,
mentality.
It's your money. Let's just be clear. It's an advance. Like, if your draw is $30,000 a year, that's coming out of your hide later, just so you know.
Yes.
You know, and that's an important point, that it's your money. So if you have the revenue that you can not take that, you're just stacking up sort of shares of stock over here that you're going to redeem later, which is a nice way to be.
I wonder too what psychologically that does in the like renegotiation process or like new deal process. Like, I don't need a draw.
But
well, yeah, I don't need a draw. So the power dynamic shifts a little 100%. Bit, I would think.
Oh yeah.
No, it does, because there's all these little micro things, which I'm sure you're doing too. You know, we negotiate with the same people, so I bet it's quite similar. You know, it's like, I don't want this, but I want this, and then the next deal I don't want that still. So how about a little bit more of this? And every time I re-up, I ask for a little bit more.
Believe in yourself. Bet on yourself.
Bet on myself. My ownership goes up every time. We've gotten creative, because now at this point, if they have any less of the publisher share, they'll have no incentive. Yeah. Like, I
want.
Good
luck.
You're your own now.
Exactly. I want them to have.
There is a balance.
Well, maybe we talk about that for a sec.
At a certain point, it's an admin deal, and you're like, you know,
you don't have a publisher.
Yeah.
Essentially, like, you want people.
They just collect.
They just collect. They become a bank if they have no incentive to be like in it with you. And I've stopped. You know, I've been working with Mike so long that I'm like, I don't want any more of your share. The beginning, I've been there since the beginning of Big Machine, which is crazy.
That is crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's such a great company, great team. All that to say though, like, that's that's your business getting robust. You know what I mean? That's you going like, oh, I don't have to da-da-da-da. I have this now. I feel like as a business owner, those are good like good things to plan for ahead of time.
Yeah, back to like having, you want to let the publishers know that they're valued and that we appreciate all the stuff that we don't see. And I know as writers, we can be very like, what do they even do? They just schedule stuff. I'm like, no, they do a lot. They go to a lot of lunches. You know, they kiss a lot of ass.
They do.
And when they do a lot of things to keep us being creative.
Yes.
And
to keep our name in other people's mouths.
Yes,
I feel like
100%.
that's the thing that a writer...
marketing your name.
you. Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like, and you just said something that we should circle back to, which is how quickly we're like, what are they even doing? Like, I feel like...
They do a lot.
They do a lot. And it feels like unnecessary at a certain point. You start going like, well, I was the one who... I was in that right because I pitched that song, and I appreciate the fact that you can contribute to those things. But I worship the ground that my publishers walk on because they do something that I hate, which is sales.
Yes,
they sell me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't want to sell me. It's embarrassing.
Oh, and as a songwriter, because we like rhyming and producing, and you're like it.
And by the way, let me tell you how good I am.
People who are good at that.
I know.
Yeah,
that's why it took me so long to be signed out of college. I was like, I could have marketed myself a little better. I could have kind of stuck my nose in things, but I just want it to be about songs.
Same.
And like you said, keeping you in creativity.
Yes.
Instead of in sales, because those are two different.
I think a little bit's not bad.
No, little.
Yeah.
I think like 90-10. I think 90-10. 80-20.
90-10 is
max.
80-20 sounds like hell.
You're like 99.1. Yeah.
I think that there's a type. And you're right. There are people who are good at both. These are magical creatures. They're unicorns that are like, they're like,
good for them.
Let me listen to how great I am. And let me also tell you about how great I am. Like, I can't do that shit. It's not for me. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it also makes me feel like the music isn't speaking for itself anymore.
That's how I feel.
And I'd rather the music just...
But let me tell you how great I am.
No, it's a thing. But if you're good at that shit, like, it does benefit you. If you can figure out how not to be cringe about it.
Yeah. I just think if you're like, if someone brings up a song maybe they didn't know you wrote, I'm like, yeah, I wrote that. Like, very proud of it.
Tell them.
And I think that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if you say like, this is exactly what I did. And this is the line I contributed. But,
the one.
And you know that artist that you know?
That's me.
Yeah.
It's hysterical because like right now, honestly, because of this podcast, which I am so determined to promote, I'm like allowing.
Oh my gosh. Is that tough?
The first time, a little, because I've never had to sell anything in my whole career. And now all of a sudden I'm like, guess what else I am and do? You know, like I am doing a little bit more of like, I wrote that so that this podcast is more legit in your head. And it's funny, just a couple of posts, there are people that are my best friends. They're like, I didn't know you wrote that. And I'm like, it's because I didn't tell you.
Oh,
correct.
I feel really bad, but like I had songs come out this past Friday and again, not on social media. And my wife's like, didn't you produce a song on so-and-so? I'm like, oh yeah, I think it came out on Friday. She's like, you have to tell me. Your parents want to know about your songs. People want to listen to your songs.
Exactly.
And I'm like, you're right. I am such of the mentality of writing songs. I'm very present with the people that I work with. I create. I get you the demo. And then I don't remember the song at all. Wow. I don't even think about it. I move on to the next one and I meet with people. And then Mike Molnar says, this person cut your song. I'm like, what are you talking about? You wrote it with so-and-so 6 months ago. I'm like, you're right. And I don't mean that to be like, hopefully it doesn't sound egotistical. No. It's more for my sanity.
It's compartmentalizing.
It's my sanity. It keeps me creative because when someone says, they got that song, it's going to be a single, and it's going to be the next thing, and it's going to be huge.
Hopes up.
I'm just like, okay. And I just kind of move on because we know, we've been in the business long enough as songwriters that you can separate yourself from talk, because that all dilutes creativity in my opinion. It dilutes like the cool songs you hear that I'm like, oh, that sounds different and cool. Doesn't sound like they really gave a shit about like what the cool, like what certain artists were doing or certain.
They were lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Like they were not like my favorite songs sound like that to me.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about, oh, it's going to be a hit.
And that's fun. And it makes writing fun. It makes you come home and some days you come home from writing and my wife would be like, how was today? I was like, it's good. It was good. Like I felt a little like it was work today, but I would say thankfully majority of the time it's, man, this is a blessing to be able to do this. I was like, I wrote with my friends and we just were silly and most of the time we were just talking and then a song popped out like in 30 minutes and then we went back to like bullshitting. So
makes me so excited because like how many times I've been told like I want to make music but I just can't do the social media thing, or I want to be a songwriter but I'm not good at sales, whatever. And it's like
we're like the antithesis, like
like, but there's here's proof, you don't have to, I don't know. And it circles back to Seth too. It's like you didn't even want to send the songs,
Yeah, and that was a huge blessing, to have someone like that to send songs to was amazing, and I didn't overuse it, and I didn't try to. Again, not too much sales. But
some people do
sign me, please,
please.
But yeah,
it's wild.
Was the not dwelling, not obsessing thing for songs that you had worked on? Were you always like that, or did you ever have you didn't have a period of like, this is the one thing I've done and it's actually coming out and oh my God, and what's the reception and how many people love it? Like
that anxiety.
Yeah.
I would say I'm not perfect. I don't want to pretend
Yeah.
like I never think about that. I definitely do. I think we all have songs that we feel are so, like, not to my own horn, but when I wrote I'll Name the Dogs for Blake Shelton, I knew that was a hit song. And that only happens every once in a while. I feel like a lot of the hits that we have are like, oh, awesome. And then it comes out like, oh gosh. To me, do you feel that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But when you know,
yeah. So then that I got a little like, but even then they were like, well, yeah, Blake recorded it. I'm like, cool. All right. And I do my best. I'm trying to be cool. I'm not going to think about it. But you still, I mean, it's natural to think about like, I mean, it would be really nice if that was on the radio and it would be really nice if that, So I don't think I'm perfect at it, but it has been a part of my mantra just every day to, no one wants to be in the presence of someone like, we got to do this. And it's like tight.
Yeah.
Does it feel tight?
Yeah.
And my goal in every room is like,
relax.
Let's chill. Let's have fun.
And
let's not even write a song. Are you stressed out today?
Yeah.
Let's hang out. Let's go get coffee. Let's go get lunch.
Yes.
So
you said something earlier about presence, and I feel like that's part of that, like being present instead of having this back in your head.
Yeah.
And it's okay to forget. Like here's a confession. I bet you I don't remember our last meeting.
I'm sure that's true.
But
because you've had 75 cents too.
But I've got great notes. I've got a great team who reminds me, just like Mike Molinar's reminding you.
That's
Great point.
It allows me to be present when I'm with you the next time, or with the next person. And I think that's a good habit to have of like, okay, I put that away. I'm here right now.
Yeah.
I have a confession that relates to this and just reflects back on just a fabulous team, but also ones that need tune-ups, because I have a thing, it's a problem, where I do not have name recall very well. Like I don't recall people's names. I do a lot of, hey friend, buddy, hey pal. I just don't have real good name recall. It takes a whole conversation, an evening, a drink for me to be like, that's who you are, name wise. I always remember like the engagement, but I don't remember names. So
my name's Matt.
Hi, Matt. Nice to meet you.
We've known each other for a decade.
No, this is not at all. I had on my calendar this is a while back when I was, doing half pitch rights, half artist rights. I just had 3 names on my calendar. One I recognized. And I was like, oh, cool. So I'm with so-and-so. I'll be fine. I show up. I have no idea that it's the lead singer of a very well-known band because my team didn't say from band name.
Like Noel Gallagher from Oasis.
It was kind of like that.
No big
And
deal.
I literally was like, why didn't anyone tell me? And my team was just like, who doesn't know that? Everyone knows that. And so we had to have this like big meeting of the minds. I will drive into the lake if the GPS says keep going. Like I am
Michael Scott.
In that moment, I don't look at my calendar until the morning of. Whatever's on the calendar, there needs to be notes. You wrote with this person 2 weeks ago, and you wrote this. And like I need notes. If it's just a name, I'm not going to be like, oh, so and so from where I met him at the thing, and it. Like I don't fucking remember, and I don't care to remember. I have more on my mind than remembering. But my team,
does your crew put that up in your
they do.
notes?
My notes are robust.
Awesome.
What the heck?
Thank
That's
God.
amazing.
Well, I've had to.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I've had to ask them.
They won't. I won't look at it anyway. Like it says 10 a.m. Like, oh, they're here. Why are they here? Yeah. It's like Alex is like, I was here yesterday, and I said it was started at 10. I'm like, you're right,
but you didn't write it.
Yeah.
For me, I need everything in my notes on the calendar.
That's amazing.
Everything. And thank God, like we're at a point, but we had this huge meeting of the minds where someone was assuming that this name would be, and now they say, it's like to the point where it's like Michael Jackson, the guy from Jackson 5, like I need details, like like the glove guy, I need so many. They like do a little recording, put it in the calendar.
Just so you know how to lean.
Get it in there.
I need that,
Google's
but it's
really
not,
dancing.
and it's not because I don't love the people. It doesn't mean I don't have a deep connection with them because if I've met them before, that person I hadn't met, but let's say I've met you before, we've even written a song. Sometimes I'm in my moment so deeply that I'm not like right now. I'm in this moment right now. I have forgotten what I have to do after this. I'll remember after, but like that's living in that's
present.
a good thing.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a team,
You need help. You need help
100%
to do that. Yeah.
then I'm just like and then I look like a doofus, which I did that day. Big time doofus. Luckily, the guy was so cute with me and so sweet. He was just like, oh my gosh, she has no idea.
It's kind of a Nashville thing though to act like that.
It was bad news, but also very cute. We've healed. Everyone we've healed, but
Together.
that's good team shit. I have one thing to say to you
Okay.
that I wanted to say that's really a funny part of, what time is it?
9:21.
Okay, sick.
We're chilling.
Something about us that I find very fascinating. We're on the same publishing team. I love writing with you.
Oh, thank you.
You love writing with me, I think.
I hope very much so.
We enjoy our time together. We've written 10 songs, maybe 10, 8 to 10.
No,
More?
than that.
More?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe 20. Let's say 20.
Yeah, let's say 20.
We gotten a cut.
Yes.
What cut?
Half open.
Sick. Okay, so we have one out
Ryan
of
Hurd.
20 at Ryan Hurd.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
I have a lot of good stories about
One.
that.
I know it's
okay.
such a good song. Oh God, I love that
I
song.
like where you're headed with
But
this.
my point is there are certain people I write with once or twice, and I'm like, no activity, I'm good. That's a thing. Like we haven't had any activity on that.
Or
1,
even
2, 3
liking a
songs.
song or
Yeah.
enjoying it.
Exactly.
Nothing to do with by getting cut. If
Yeah.
if you're like, the vibe's not right.
The vibe's
and
not
song's
right. I'm like,
great.
meh.
Yeah.
You and I have a handful of others where I'm like, I will write with you any
That's fair.
day, all the time. I don't care if we have. It's always fun. We always write something I'm proud of. Time will figure our cut life out. But I just think it's an interesting thing. Like, and also in team ways, like you end up in teams that I'm not in. End up in teams that you're not in. But every time I write with you, I'm like, yes. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
I
sweet
just think
to
it's
say.
interesting though. Like that's not everybody. And I think the sauce there is the things you have, so clearly been on this podcast, but are in my description of you, like kind, fun, light, easy to be around.
Great dancer.
Great dancer.
You like me first. in the bio. Great.
Funny.
No.
But I just think that that's something that needs to be noted. We talk a ton about calendars
Mhm.
on this podcast and how a songwriter's biggest leverage is their calendar.
Mhm.
Like if you're allowed to say no, you know what I mean?
I only write 3 days a week.
There you go. That's crazy cool, actually.
Mhm. Oh, also I do tracks, so I'm working
So
every
you
day.
have to
you're
do the
working.
other
I'm
stuff.
not working.
But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
there's
You
people
hear
in
that,
your position.
He's still working.
Exactly.
But it makes the publisher be very careful about
What's on there?
what days are. They're not like 5 days a week. Just
Yes.
whoever.
Yeah.
Very strategic, poignant, and like there's more room to be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's more days to move things around. Oh, that artist can't do
Yes.
this. Like, can you do it a Friday? And
Mm-hmm.
when you have 5 writes in a week, they're like, oh, I gotta do 70 different things. I think it's
Right.
easier on everybody and more beneficial. And I've had more cuts doing that, which is weird.
I'm finding
That's
that now too.
interesting.
Is the less that
Yeah.
I'm doing, the more cuts I'm getting.
Yeah, I don't know what that's
I don't know
about.
what that is either, but it's happening.
And back to like what you were saying about people you just love and appreciate writing with, that don't necessarily get the singles and the multi-week number ones or whatever. But Chase McGill and I
Mm-hmm.
wrote together for 12 years until we had our first number one.
Fuck yes.
So
That needs to just be.
we get a lot of cuts.
Yes.
He's like one of my best like songwriting friends,
Mhm.
and we didn't even think about it. Like we never discussed like why aren't we having singles?
Mhm.
Or
Yeah.
why aren't we?
because
You're
it's
just
fun.
doing the
We
thing.
didn't care.
Yeah.
We're just
Yeah.
like let's have fun. We just write fun songs together. We like enjoy each other's company. We have the same kind of yin and yang.
Mhm.
And we also had our same first cut together on the Kenny Chesney album, The Born and Raised. What's the one with the bus on it?
Oh, revival.
Born and Raised is John Mayer. Yeah.
Amazing. Something revival. Saltwater revival? No. That's
another-
Eli Young Band.
Yeah.
Something with a bus and the word revival. Anyway,
Anyway, so that's how we got started.
Yeah.
We got that out.
keep it in.
Anyway,
keep it in.
But I was just when you said that, I was like, oh, that's like I have a few writers like that where we've written for a long time, and I don't even think about it,
Mm-mm.
and I'm not like, this isn't leveraging me,
Mhm.
right, or
Yeah.
whatever. And 10 years ago or 12 years ago, Chase and I had nothing going on,
Right.
So
It's just a really neat reflection of this
yeah, it's a
community.
joy.
It's about longevity. It's about long-term friendship. It's about being patient and not having like exorbitant expectations. I feel like you just have to fucking chill out. And you're just so good at that,
Thank you.
let that be the lesson of this particular episode.
Hmm.
Chill.
Mm.
Everything's going to be fine.
Just chill. And you have the little
Chill out.
chime, little
Bing.
Buddha chime. Like,
Maybe we'll put that in. Maybe we.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Absolutely. We'll see if it's in the budget.
Yeah.
Matt,
Big
thank
budget.
you so
Oh,
thanks for
freaking
being
much
here.
for being here.
Thank you.
You're incredible. And
Hmm.
the
Appreciate you
success
guys.
you've had is so
Hmm.
incredible. And I just want it to happen over and like you're one of those people. I'm like, just keep winning. You're the best.
Oh, thank you so
Keep
much.
freaking winning.
Feel the same way.
You're amazing.
Speaking of winning,
Awesome.
help us win.
Bye.
Nice
Liking,
segue.
subscribing,
Sharing.
and watch us on the friggin' YouTubes, man.
YouTube.
Leave us a comment now. Oh, a nice one, but leave us a comment.
Yeah, nice one. And
Yeah.
hey, negative one, give it to us. We can handle it.
Engagement's engagement
Hey.
at the end of the day.
Thank y'all so much for listening.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Matt.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Bye.
you, Matt.
Bye.
Bye.